everybody, how y'all doing? It is your girl, your diva and knowledge, Lady Mocha, representing Mocha's Cafe, that part of this one, always serve you wisdom, knowledge, and spiritual awareness. My channel for women and ladies. So, ladies, if you haven't already subscribed, I do have a women's only content channel specifically for women, Mocha's Ladies Lounge, where we discuss topics for women and about women. So if you want to go to a space where it's specifically for women and it's women based only, you are welcome to subscribe to that channel if you have not already done so. So I want to go specifically into today's recipe because I saw the photo floating around. I wanted to talk about your boy Dr. Dre. Apparently he has posted on his Instagram photo posing in front of beautifully decorated balloons in the background, spelled out divorced as fuck. Actually AF, okay, but we know that's what it means. The news comes after a lengthy and heated back and forth between Dr. Dre and his ex-wife Nicole Young, since their separation was filed by Nicole Young on their 24th anniversary. Nicole made a lot of claims alleging that Dr. Dre put a gun in her head, and he was also court-ordered to pay her $3.5 million a year in spousal support. The divorce has been very nasty, from Nicole getting Dr. Dre served papers at his grandmother's funeral, and when Dr. Dre was in the hospital due to aneurysm. Dre and Nicole have been married for 24 years and have 2 children, a son, Truice, age 24, and daughter Truly, age 20. Dr. Dre even made a rap song, okay, which I didn't even know, expressing his anger towards Nicole during this bitter divorce per multiple outlets. I see you trying to fuck me while I'm in surgery, and ICU, deathbed, on some money shit. Greedy bitch. Take a pic. Girl, you know how money get. Now, I find it rather funny how all of a sudden Dr. Dre has made his ego bigger than his muscles when he was the one, in fact, that didn't initiate this divorce. Okay, he did not initiate the divorce. He was still wholeheartedly in love with this woman. Now that Nicole has bruised his ego publicly, trying every avenue she can to rape him financially, he became so stressed out over the divorce that he actually suffered a brain aneurysm. Now, you know, a lot of people want to make it seem as if when our brain aneurysm occurred, you know, and I'm not saying he didn't already have medical issues, and I'm not saying that, you know, it wasn't something that was already medically going wrong, but I will say this. I do believe that divorce, because it came out of left field, he did not expect it, he was not prepared for it, I believe it stressed him so bad to the point that it somewhat was the cause of his aneurysm. And you know, aneurysm, you know, it's in the brain. And whether people want to believe it or not, stress is a #1 killer of, you know, people's well-being. Believe it or not, your mental psyche, how you respond to emotional trauma, because divorce is an emotional trauma, you know, and only people who have experienced it can understand that. Divorce is very traumatizing. It doesn't matter who's the millionaire, who's the billionaire, when a person that you've been with for a long, substantial amount of time, like Dr. Dre with Nicole Young, we ain't talking about no 6-month marriage, no year marriage. We talking about 24 years, you know what I mean? And a lot of these men, they've never been married before. So I notice a lot of these male content creators, they're so quick to give an opinion and feel and make it seem as if men can't hurt behind divorce. Like only women could be bitter. Only women could get hurt. And divorce does create bitterness for both men and women. Bitterness is not just a woman's response or reaction. Now, I will say how we respond is different. A man responds different with his bitterness. He's not as emotional. He may be more egotistical or low-key, but he's bitter. And we're going to talk about that. And women, the thing is, we're more loud, we're more obvious when it comes to our bitterness, okay? So, I believe that divorce coming out of left field, he wasn't prepared. He didn't know it was going to happen. I believe it took a mental toll on him, okay? Just because you're a man and you built with muscles and you got a deep voice, that don't mean, you know what I mean, shit can't knock you off your high horse, you feel me? So I'm listening to a lot of these male content creators. You know, I'm listening to how A lot of them are coming at Nicole Young, and I'm keep hearing them say she is so bitter. She is such a hater because Dr. Dre no longer wants her. But what a lot of them are overlooking is, Nicole was the one who filed the divorce first. She did not want to be with him. So I don't know why a lot of these guys are insinuating that she is the bitter one. Now she is now. She is now because she's saying she got to go back and forth with him to get all of what she's asking for. But she been tired of Dre. She been over Dre. She been sick of it. A woman to file divorce papers on their anniversary, that's a red flag. She been tired of her preference, who preferred her. She been tired of it. Okay? So, she could have done like a lot of these industry wives do. You see Jada Pickett, you see a lot of these, Alicia Keys. It's a lot of industry wives, that have, done a lot, have taken a lot. You got dudes like Will Smith who has taken all type of unadulterated disrespect and still is willing to stand by his woman and smile like he's the alpha male, which we clearly see that he's not. You have a lot of women, in the industry. They remain in their miserable marriages. Just to maintain their perfect red carpet image and celebrity wife lifestyle. But at some point, it must have become really unbearable for Nicole to try to pretend. So she hit a breaking point and she left him. She didn't prepare him. She didn't try to seek counseling. She like, I'm out. 24 years, she dropped him like a bad habit, okay? I say all that to say, I'm not sure why you men in the black YouTube sector are throwing a praise and worship service for Dr. Dre. Because Dr. Dre did not call the shots on this one. Nicole Young did. Behind the billionaire entrepreneur, Dre was in love with his Snowfake. Not flake. Fake. Dr. Dre was in love with his Snowfake. He was in love with this woman. Alright? Dr. Dre had been with many women over the years. Now, we know Dr. Dre has a history of being a playboy. We also know Dr. Dre has a history of being physically violent towards women. And I know a lot of you male consecrators, y'all are not going to address that because it's all about making the women look bitter. It's all about making the women look like we are the problematic individuals, And I'm not saying we're not. A lot of us are. But the truth is, you got a lot of men, they are their own worst enemy too when it comes to women. Now, again, Dr. Dre has been with many women over the years, okay? He has not been a saint. Having multiple children, okay? Nicole Young didn't come to him with a bunch of baby daddies, all right? She didn't come to him with a bunch of excess baggage. Dr. Dre has been with many women, having multiple children, but Nicole was the only one out of all these women. He has, 5 baby mamas and 9 different children. So, out of all the women Dr. Dre has been with, including Michelle A., the singer, something in my heart, got me hooked on you, whatever. She's the mother of his 7th child. So, Dre has gotten around like a damn Lyft driver. Okay? He has been around. But out of all his baby mamas, he married Nicole Young, the Snowfake. He married her because he felt she was more valuable enough to marry and have his children. Now, whenever a man has multiple children, multiple baby mamas, and he has decided to settle down with one, out of all the women he could have married and been with, because he saw value in that woman. He valued Nicole Young. Nicole Young was his preference. He didn't marry none of them other women. He didn't marry none of them other sisters. He saw something in Nicole Young that made him feel in his heart, this is my wife. This is my soulmate. This is my companion. He ain't felt that way about none of the other, and we're not even going to mention the other women he didn't have kids from. Okay? Dr. Dre has been with multiple women. It's not just the baby mamas. So he has had his share of women. So Dr. Dre knew what type of woman he wanted. Basically, Dr. Dre is a businessman. You know, he's very intelligent. You know, I believe he seems a little arrogant and cocky. Like, you know, he's beside himself at times. And he's admitted this. You know, I will give Dr. Dre that. He has admitted, you know, he has not been a saint. He said he has done a lot of, you know, effed up things to women. He's put his hands on women. He had a lot of problem with alcohol and his aggression. Now, maybe as he gotten older, you know, he's not as physically, you know, abusive as he used to be. I mean, let's face it, a lot of women, you know, they do give Dr. Dre a lot of heat, but let's face it, a lot of us who have been married for a long time in relationships know when a man comes to you, he's not going to come to you pure and clean. It's a lot of messed up things he done did in his past with other women before he became your husband, before he became your man. And of course it's going to be women that's going to feel some type of way because they're the ones who encountered it. And you didn't. You know, you have a lot of women and wives who will marry a man and will jump to their defense. Well, my husband is a wonderful man. He's never put his hands on me. Yeah. Because by the time he came to you, his ass already been whipping women's ass. And he been doing that for years. By the time he came to you, you know, it was out of his system. Maybe he got tired going to court too many times, having to pay attorney fees, getting locked up in jail. By the time he came to you, you know, that was out of his system. You know what I mean? So, Dr. Dre probably once he got with Nicole, he was not that same volatile dude. You get what I'm saying? It's unfortunate that the other women did not get to experience or share, you know, this newfound billionaire entrepreneur, you know, who want to settle down and have a family. You know, they didn't get that side of them. But the woman who did, you know, who did get that luxury of being able to be his wife, somewhere something wasn't clean in the buttermilk because even she didn't want him no more. Okay? After 24 years. Before Dre had decided to share his health and wealth with his snowfake Nicole Young, other women from his past was never granted that opportunity, and I just told y'all that. You know what I mean? That this was the woman he loved. Okay? Whenever a man who's been a playboy, who's been a male Jezebel, he finally settles down, is because he's really in love. Now, a man who has been married multiple times, this wife number 3, wife number 4, dude, you just an incel, you know. You just love to be married. You know what I mean? But because you've done it more than once. But for a man who has a history of being a playboy and finally settling down, that means Nicole Young meant a whole lot to him. He saw something different in her that he didn't see in any other women he'd been in his past. Now, I don't know if he saw her fair complexion skin or the fact that she was docile and submissive. I'm not sure what he saw, but whatever it was enough to convince him that this is the woman I'm going to share my wealth and my health with. This is the woman I'm going to spend my life with. He'd been with her for 24 years. 24 years. You guys can say what y'all want to say, but this man was in love with this woman. Y'all calling her the bitter. Y'all calling her the gold digger. He loved this bitter woman. He loved this gold digger. He loved her. He loved her. And I don't know how true this is, but I heard she was in a relationship when he was dealing with her and he took her from another guy. I don't know how true that is, allegedly, but I will say this. I won't be surprised. And if he did, he cannot be stunned at what he's going through because karma meets everybody's address. Okay? Now, I want to talk about this thing with swirling, because in the black sector, I'm always hearing a lot of black women getting a lot of heat from swirling. And I also hear a lot of black men as well who get heat from swirling. The black community has a problem with the black community swirling. Interracial dating, having interracial marriages. You have a lot of female content creators that have a high opinion on, you are very opinionated on black men who seem to put more energy and effort into pleasing a preference, and vice versa. You have a lot of guys, men who are also going in on black women who, pretty much like to put non-colored men on the pedestal and give them praise and worship service, only to find out, a lot of these sisters, their white husbands are divorcing them as well. They are jumping ship just like Nicole Young, and this is what I will say when it comes to swirling. For one, I've never swirled. I've never been with a man outside of the black race, and I'm not knocking anybody who has, but this is my intake on this. When it comes to swirling, I noticed that most black men and black women decide to swirl when they have encountered too many negative relationships within their own race. It basically becomes like a safe haven. That's what Dr. Dre did. He had, as far as he was concerned, in his mind, he didn't feel black women were worthy of wife material. He didn't mind having children with them. He did that. He got multiple black baby mamas who got children, but he didn't consider them as wife material. And you have a lot of black men, when they have had too many negative experiences with black women, they are ready to cross over. They want to go the other side. Dating non-colored women becomes a safety net for them. They start seeking out their preference because again, when they have had multiple negative experiences, they feel like every black woman they've ever dated has taken them for what they have, has used them, has taken advantage of them. They want to cross over and deal with women of other races, only to find out when they cross over, these women are just like the women that they were trying to avoid, just like they black baby mamas. Now, the only difference is a lot of these non-colored women, these preferences, where they are different at, unlike a lot of the black women that a lot of these dudes no longer desire, they're more patient with screwing these men over. They're more patient. Nicole Young waited for 24 years to screw him over. And probably what has happened, she'd been planning in her mind she was going to find her way out, sooner than later, because I noticed she waited for her children to get grown. So the timing when she chose to leave this marriage for years, she did the same thing that a lot of sisters are guilty of doing. She was gold digging. She was using him to get to where she was going. Same thing with Kim Kardashian. Only difference is a lot. The difference between the sisters and the Snowfakes is that the Snowfakes, they are very patient. They wait a long time. They take years and years and years and years of disrespect. If not that, they've been playing the role for years of being a submissive and docile woman, to the point to where these men start getting confident and cocky, like they just know they Snowfake ain't going nowhere. That's what happened with Dr. Dre. Again, because black women, we're told we're drama. We're only out for ourselves. And let me tell you something. The difference between, I'm gonna just say this, just in my opinion, the difference between sisters and white women, we're more obvious with our motives. Okay? We're more verbal with our motives. And I think this is the reason why a lot of sisters get a lot of heat. We kind of make it be known, you know what I mean, that we're not trying to be with a man who can't financially provide. You'll see a woman, a black female, if you look at her past and you see all the guys she dated has been athletes or been rappers, that kind of gives you an indication, okay, she's that's what she's about. She's all about men who she feel could bring her up. She's all about being on the come up. Now, these Snowfakes, where they're different is they downplay it. They downplay it better than we do. They don't make it seem very obvious. You got Scottie Pippen's wife who been with him for years. Now, she didn't have a multiple track record of being with a lot of rappers and a lot of athletes. Larsa Pippen didn't have that type of track record. No more than Dr. Dre's wife, soon-to-be ex-wife, I guess ex-wife now, Nicole Young. She does not have a track record of being with multiple rappers, multiple athletes. But at the end of the day, the intentions are the same. The motives are the same. It's just that the snowfakes, they know to be patient. They know they're going to have to, endure whatever it is they got to endure. And you got some sisters that's the same way. You got some sisters that they do the same thing. They've been, Lala Anthony dealt with a lot of disrespect from Carmelo Anthony for years. She waited till that 10th-year mark to jump ship. That way she could get that allotment. She wanted to put in that 10-year bid so she can get that spousal allowance. So it's women of all colors who do it. But the thing is, these men, they try to downplay it and act like it's only the black women who got motives. No woman of no color, of any color, doesn't want a broke man who she feels she cannot benefit from. So I mean, a lot of these guys, they just got to get off of that. It's just black women who want money. It's just black women who trying to come up. That's any woman. You know what I mean? Very rarely, unless you meet a woman in your struggle, who was willing to be with you, knowing you wasn't that top-notch rapper like LL Cool J wife, Denzel Washington wife. That's how you know that's a down-ass chick. That's a down-ass woman, because she didn't wait till all the fruits of your labor came into fruition. She was with you during the struggle. Now, that's when you know a woman is genuinely your woman, because she didn't wait for you to become successful to see your value. You got women like LL Cool J's wife, Simone, who was with her husband in the struggle, had to deal with him, struggling to get to where he is, him constantly going on tours for years, and you would never know that, because she's always been a low-key wife. She never tried to, put herself out there like, look at me, LL Cool J is my husband. She was very humble, and she knew her position as a wife, so she never felt the need to have to force and put herself out there like that. But you can tell LL Cool J, he truly loves his wife, because he's been with that woman from day one. That woman was the mother of his children. He don't have multiple baby mamas and all of that. So you have some men out here who have done it the right way. They're not trying to bring a lot of excess baggage to another woman's life. They have all their kids. They have, given their life to one woman, put it that way. Okay, they ain't spreading their seeds around from all these multiple women, where the next woman has to be bothered with all of his baby mamas, and his kids and all this, you know what I mean? So you have some men who have done it the right way. Now, I will also say this, like my point before, when it comes to swirling, black men and black women, they basically decide to swirl because it's been too many negative experiences. As a black woman, I've been through it with too many black men. I'm retiring from black men. I'm crossing over. It's because she's had too many negative experiences. Now, I will say, however, non-colored women and non-colored men don't choose to swirl based on negative encounters within their own race. It's usually because their own race does not consider them as valuable to the community, which means they have to cross over. Kobe Bryant's wife, prime example. A lot of the white guys, the white prominent men in her community that she was trying to encounter or trying to attract, all the guys in her Hispanic culture, whatever, she could not get the same level of attraction from them as she was able to get it from Kobe Bryant. You know what I mean? So Vanessa Bryant was going to an all-white prominent school. She really was trying to bait one of those, like, what they call them, what's them nerdy white guys that's going to law school and stuff. She was trying to, I think they call them preppies. She was trying to really court a preppy. That's why she was going to the white school. That's why she was dyed. She had her hair dyed white, She really didn't want none of those prominent white guys at that white school that she was going to know that she was Mexican, because the preppies dating Hispanic women or courting Hispanic women in that particular community, it was pretty much like a downgrade. And she knew that. A lot of white women or non-colored women, they know they cannot get acceptance in their own community, like Kim Kardashian. They know, men within their own race, or was not going to pick them up and court them. Because they see them as a downgrade. Just like you have a lot of brothers who perceive black women as downgrades, as dusties. You have some white men who consider some white women as dusties. Same thing with the model Jeremy Meeks, the guy who mugshot went viral, and all the women was thirsting over his mugshot because he had green eyes. So he got lucky, and it was a modeling agency who discovered his mugshot picture when it floated around, and while he was in prison. Now, he was married to a white woman who stood by his criminal ass all them years. He was granted an opportunity to sign with his modeling agency, and instead of him taking signing the contract so he could model, and his white woman, who was a very attractive woman who had his kids, instead of him sharing that life with her, being that she struggled with his ass, he got courted and baited by a basic billionaire heiress, Becky. When I say basic, very basic. She was not, a lot of the billionaire men in her circle, they was not attracted to her. They was not interested in Chloe Green. Chloe Green was a basic billionaire Becky. Now, her father, who's this billionaire, I think he owns some type of clothing label or something. I'm not sure. But a lot of the billionaires, her daddy, if he's a billionaire, he's around billionaires. He's around billionaires and their sons. Billionaires, they basically, they are in the same circle. Billionaires rock with other billionaires. Her luck was so bad, she couldn't court a billionaire. She had to go pick up Jeremy Meeks, a felon with multiple records. She courted him because she knew she could easily court him based on the fact that she's a billionaire. Now, keep in mind, his wife, who has been by his side since, dealing with him, being in and out of the court system, standing by him, put money on his books. Now, keep in mind, his wife was prettier than Chloe Green. Only difference was Chloe Green had the billions. He left his wife to go be with basic billionaire Becky and had a baby with her. Billionaire Becky basically paid for his ass. Because she knew if you looked up her picture, you would see there's nothing attractive about her other than her billions. And she knew none of the men in her status, none of the men in her community would accept her. So this is what tends to happen. A lot of these non-colored women, they own men do not find them valuable enough to be with them. So they get desperate and they go after something that they know they could easily conquer. Chloe Green knew she could conquer that felon with her billions. Now, she couldn't get the billionaire Brad, because billionaire Brad was looking for a top-notch Becky. Not her plain Becky looking ass. And she knew she would not be able to cop a billionaire Brad. So she picked up the felon. And she's still with him to this day. And she has no regards of how she disrespected another woman. You know what I mean? By snatching her husband from up underneath her. But Jeremy Meeks made that decision. He went where the money was. Because again, Jeremy Meeks is thinking like a felon. You could take a man out of prison, but you can't take the prison out of the man. He's looking at the fact that this woman is a billionaire. He could benefit by being with her. So, again, billionaire Becky was so desperate, she don't mind Jeremy being with her, even if he's not genuinely in love with her. She just wanted something that she could conquer. Because again, the men in her community did not want her. Same thing with Kim Kardashian. A lot of these women, non-colored women, are not valued in their community by their own kind. So what they do is they go cop. They go cop a man outside of their race who has infatuation for exoticas or non-colored women. It's easy for them to conquer black males, especially black men who no longer have value in black women, who still have who are infatuated with exoticas, who find that non-colored women are more valuable. It's easy for her to conquer him, even if she ain't got shit no more than the black women he complains about don't have. Because truth be told, a lot of these women, non-colored women, they're not bringing a whole lot to the table than the average sister, other than their complexion for the connection. That's all they're bringing. You know what I mean? Now, again, I'm not knocking. If you genuinely love a non-colored woman, if you genuinely love a non-colored man, then that's different. But if you're only crossing over to the other side because you no longer see value in your own kind, then you set yourself up to be played, because shadiness comes in all sort of flavors. And what a lot of black men and black women who are into swirling, what they don't understand, swirling does not secure you from being taken advantage of, from being used, from being lied to. You got some, shady ass brads out there. You got some, deceitful Latinas. You have some shady Beckys. The color does not dictate a person's character. Okay? You could put two women in a room. You could put a white woman and a black woman in the same room. Both of them have the same motives. That white woman don't want a broke ass Negro no more than a black woman don't want a broke ass Negro. But if a black male steps into the room and his preference is that white woman, even though they both have the same motive, he will find a way to give the preference a pass, simply because that is what he really wants. And I believe a lot of these guys will give their preferences a pass, even though they're just as manipulative, just as conniving, just as shady, just as deceitful, got gold digging tendencies, because that's what he prefers. That's his preference. That's his desire. He will find a way to not hold her accountable to that. No different than a white or black woman. If she really wants Brad, and that is what she truly desires. Let's say if Brad has the motives to want to be with her because she's a successful black woman and he knows he could come up on her, it's okay for Brad to feel that way. But if a brother feel that way, oh, you all about my money, you all about trying to come up. People will only give their preference a pass because that's just what it is. It is their preference. But what a lot of y'all are not understanding is you cannot stop your preference from shitting on you. You cannot stop your preference from leaving you, taking you for what you got, and dropping you like a bar of soap in the county jail. That's why Kanye West is going around here losing his goddamn mind. He wants his wife back. He wants Kim Kardashian back. A woman who done been passed around more than goddamn Tabasco hot sauce at the black folks cookout. He begging for a woman who's got videos viral of her, giving another man head. He running behind this woman like she's a clean cut, pure snowflake, and she's not. Y'all, and it's ridiculous that you have so many black women that are promoting black women, to just give up on black men. Don't have nothing to do with black men. If you're a black woman who still desires black men, you're a mammy. Or if you're a black man who still desires black women, you're a simp. When the actuality is, you have the right to desire who you want to desire. You know, you have a right to you basically have a preference. But what I'm saying is, let me break it down this way. Once you program your mind to not have anything to do with a specific race. For instance, I'll just use myself as an example. I've been married going on 22 years to my black husband, okay? I've never dated outside my race, whatever the case is, all right? And I have a daughter from my black husband. Now, let's say if I adopted this stigma because me and my husband haven't, let's say we haven't had pleasant experiences in the marriage. And I have decided I no longer want nothing to do with black men. I'm not having children from black men. I'm not marrying black men because, again, I'm allowing that bitterness from an individual situation to fester me, to program and change my whole outlook on life on black men just because I've had a negative experience. And I decide to start only dealing with white men and white men only. Now, keep in mind, once you adopt that narrative that you're not going to deal with your race anymore because it's just been too many problems, what you do is you tend to overlook a lot of the fuckery from these non-colored individuals. Because if in my mind, I feel like all black men ain't shit, if that's what I have programmed myself to believe, because again, I've been burnt, I've been betrayed, I've encountered so many negative experiences with black men, now that is my new mindset. What it does is, when I do meet a manipulative Brad, a shady ass Brad, because I have already programmed myself to want a white man, to be with a white man, that gives him a full advantage in using me and taking advantage of me. Because again, even if I see some bullshit, or if I feel like he does not have good intentions no more than the black men I've been going with, you know, my mindset is going to find a way to make me overlook his intentions, because again, I have already decided that I'm going to only desire this man and nothing else outside of it. And that's the same thing with a lot of these brothers. They have programmed themselves into believing that black women are so no good that they would give these Beckys a pass. Now, Becky just may be more low-key with her maliciousness. Becky, Latina, Tatiana, you know, her motives could be the same way. But because he has programmed himself to just only believe that black women got issues, when this Latina, Tatiana, or Becky blows him out the water and divorces him, he's looking stunned. He's like Dr. Dre. He lost in the sauce. He don't get it because he thought his preference was his security blanket. Again, because he felt like, well, I'm not dealing with black women. Only black women are the trouble. Only black women could be a threat to me. Because he felt safe once he married his preference. And his preference was the one who ended up doing the men. And that's what happens. When you become so intrigued with your preference, you overlook a lot of their shadiness, or if you don't see it, what tends to happen is it gives them such an advantage in getting over on your ass that you can't see it. Dr. Dre's wife, Nicole Young, she been had it out for him. She been had it out for him. She played it smooth. She played it cool. Again, she married him. Made sure, you know, she earned that last name. Made sure she was able to enjoy the fruits of Dr. Dre's labor. She made sure she put them two children in there. She made sure she made her mark. That way, when she was ready to jump ship, she knew she wasn't going to jump with nothing. Now, in fact, everybody wants to say Nicole Young is the bitter one. Let's talk about that. Everybody wants to say Nicole is the bitter one. That's what you brothers been saying. I've listened to your content. Nicole Young is the bitter one. That's what y'all been saying, right? What y'all are not understanding is it's actually the opposite. Dr. Dre is the bitter one. Y'all act like bitterness is only something, an emotion women can have. Dr. Dre is bitter. And I'm not going to say he doesn't have a good reason to be. Hell, I'll be bitter too if you serving me damn papers at my grandmother's funeral. If I'm in a hospital damn near about to die from aneurysm and you trying to get me to sign papers because you feel like I'm not in my right goddamn mind, he got every reason to be bitter. But what it is, the fact that he posted this Instagram photo with the words in the back, divorced as fuck, that he's displaying his bitterness. Because he never thought his preference would do him in. Think about it. Dr. Dre is used to having control over women. He's been with all these black women who he never married, who could never take him for what he had, who he only had children from, so the most they can take from him was child support. He's always been pretty stern. He's always been a man in control that never gave women a lot of leverage to control or regulate him. And the one woman who he loves, who he shares his life with, she did him in. So if we want to get down to bitterness, he's the bitter one. Oh, and you have a lot of bitter ass men around here. And I'm tired of you men acting like only women can be bitter. Yes, we are. I ain't gonna lie, women, we are bitter. But y'all just low-key playing. Y'all let y'all ego and masculinity try to convince people into believing y'all not pressed. Dr. Dre, I will say this, he has not gone around, dragging his wife, bad-mouthing her, He did do that rap song or whatever, but he's bitter. He showed that when he posted that Instagram. He making it seem like he's happy with the divorce being finalized. He's not happy. What it is, he ain't got a goddamn choice but to find a way to be happy about it because Nicole Young wasn't giving him a choice. So y'all don't need to be giving Dr. Dre praise and worship Sunday service like he's this newfound man and yeah, he left her and he's in a better place now. He's doing good without her. He don't need her. She the bitter one. He is bitter. But he posted that photo that showed it right then. Now, if he would have just stayed cool, didn't even put a picture out there like that out there, just continued, doing his thing with his business, continue doing his thing with his record labels, just continue to be cool, calm, and collective, not even post a picture like that, then I could say, okay, he's not bitter. He's accepted the reality of his marriage no longer being a marriage. He has accepted the fact that he sees this woman true colors for who she really is, and he's going to bow gracefully. When he posted that picture, I don't know about y'all, but I see him in a different light because he's playing into the pettiness. He's playing into the cattiness. And who usually does pettiness and cattiness? Bitter people. That is something women do. That is something. Now, I could have saw his wife doing that before him. Now, if his wife would have done something like that, I'm like, okay, that's women. Women petty. Women emotional. When he posted that picture, Dr. Dre is an emotional man. Go past the billions. Go past the triceps and the biceps. And the fact that he's 6'9", however tall and big he is. Stop looking at his masculine physical structure. The man is hurt because his preference no longer prefers him. He was in love with this woman. I don't give him a pass and I don't give her a pass. Both of them did each other in. Okay, and what we're not going to do is sit up here and have a praise and worship service giving Dr. Dre all the praises like he was the one who made this decision. He did not make this decision. He did not. Dr. Dre did not divorce Nicole Young. Nicole Young divorced Dr. Dre. So you male content creators need to get up off of that, making it seem like Nicole Young is bitter. Yeah, she's bitter of the after fact. Yes, now she's bitter because she has to go through all these shenanigans of getting what she wants. And she thought she had the game on lock. But because Dr. Dre is a businessman, she was not able to really nail him to the cross like she wanted to. So now she's bitter, but she wasn't bitter when she wanted that divorce. Your boy Dr. Dre was bitter because, again, he felt safe with his preference. He felt like he had it on lock. He been with her 24 years. She been, standing by him all this time. So he was blindsided. He was like a victim in a drive-by. He ain't saw them damn bullets. He ain't saw them bullets coming to shoot his ass. So we gonna come off of that and stop giving, Dr. Dre all these props. Stop celebrating him because he's celebrating his divorce. He's not celebrating it because he wanted it. He's celebrating it because he has accepted the fact his preference no longer prefers him. Okay? So anyway, y'all, I'm going to get ready to shut it down. Make sure y'all hit that like button before you leave. Ladies and gentlemen, please stop thinking you playing it safe because your preference is who you chose. You can choose your preference. That don't mean your preference is going to choose you. That don't mean your preference is going to do right by you. That don't mean your preference is going to have the best of intentions, have your best interests at the end of the day. You don't know a person's mental. You don't know a person's psyche. You can never underestimate these non-colored women or these non-colored men because they could be just as shady and no good as the black women and the black men you give no credit for, okay? Alright, y'all. So anyway, this is your diva and knowledge, Lady Mocha. Remember, I'm going to always pour you a cup of truth and break you off a slice of knowledge. Ladies, please subscribe to my Mocha's Ladies Lounge where I got content uploaded for women, by women, and for women. Y'all be blessed. If you want to hit the cash out and continue to help my channel grow, you're more than welcome to do that. Also, I want to give a shout out before I left. Shout out to Taz for sharing my content. He has shared my content twice. And I appreciate that. You don't have a lot of guys who will share your content. So big ups to him, and his wife Nala. People say what they want to say. I haven't heard the best of Taz, but I will say this much. I do see that he will promote sisters quicker than any of the other guys that I've been loyal to, the guys that I've been rocking for, the guys that I have been donating. And it's sad, but it's unfortunate that sometimes you get appreciation from places where you least expect it. I've been caping for certain guys. I've been subscribed to certain guys, and they've never shared my videos. They've never shown me any love. So I definitely want to give a big ups to Taz, and his, his wife, and his peoples and stuff. I appreciate that. Again, being a struggle content creator, we appreciate any little support that we could possibly get. So anyway, I'm gonna get ready to shut it down. Y'all take care. I'm signing off.